Huzzah! Gerald's back once again. Today I'm going to be walking through how I make myself move. Once you've made your model, you want it to move. I get this question all the time. How do I make myself exist? Move. How do I bring life into the model? Well, it's actually easy as hell, honestly. If you don't have a model yet, I'll throw Vroid down to the description. It's a nice, easy program to use when you're trying to make a model for the first time. You don't actually need any 3D modeling experience in it. It's really convenient. But moving on to how you actually, after you've made it, make it move. I personally, there's many programs to do this, but the one I use is VSeeFace. It doesn't have hand movement unless you've got a leap motion device, which is pricey, so hence reason, no hand movements. But besides that, it's got pretty much all the features you could ask for. At least all the features I could ask for. But it was made by someone called Deet. He's got a Discord server, I'll link below, where you can request help if you've got issues, blah blah blah. Or you can throw it in the comment section where I might be able to help. But yeah, you go to vseeface.icu. This nice old website. You'll start up here. This is the home page. Scroll down a little bit, not far, and hit that download button. And it will automatically start downloading here. I've already got it downloaded. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I put this video off for about 10 minutes for this to download because I didn't want to cut it. I'm lazy. But once you've downloaded this, you'll want something like WinRAR to open this. Once you can open it, yep, we totally got a license. I'm just going to create a new folder just so it doesn't overwrite with what I've currently got. But you'll take this out, extract it to whatever folder you want. It's not particularly important. Double click it. Open it up. And you'll be greeted with this, except you won't have these models in here. There will be no models. So to add a new one, you just hit that and click whichever one you want to add. I don't know what any of these are, I'm going to be honest. So we're just going to hit that one. And it should... Normally it shows up here. I might... Oh, it might be this one. Okay, yeah, that's why it's not showing up here. I think it might be one we've already got loaded. But typically it will show up here. You'll click it. You'll choose your webcam here. Camera settings, default, blah, blah, blah. Leave that on default. Frame rate, this depends on your computer's memory. I've got a strong computer, so I leave it at 30. But a lot of people turn it down to 20 depending on their computer. Same with tracking quality. Depending on your computer's CPU, you might put it at toaster. You might put it at high quality. Barely okay. This is a trial and error thing. Work out how much your computer can handle. And if you're confused on it, you can open up Task Manager. Go here. And you can see how much memory you're using just on this program. It's a lot higher than it actually is for me because I'm running 2 instances, but you choose the settings, try and get this number low, but try and keep the quality okay, especially if you're going to be streaming with it. So now I'm going to make myself disappear for a second because, well, we got to boot up a second camera here. Well, the same camera. I don't have many webcams. So you start this up and it will instantly just start tracking you. Like instantaneously. There's no break on it. And here you are moving. So you now have many options here, which aren't really intimidating, honestly. They're pretty obvious. Leap motion, as I said, this is for hand tracking. If you've got a leap motion device, you typically want to position it above your keyboard, around your neck, where it can see your hands moving, and that way you'll be able to get some hand movements. However, I believe these sell for about 100-ish pounds, might be 80. They're fairly pricey. Drift back to normal. This is something, if you were to look to the right and click it, just slowly over time, it will drift back to normal. If we turn it up, you'll see it's slightly buggy, but we slowly drift back to the default position. Mirror motion. This is to reflect your motion. This really depends which way you want to be looking. Because if I'm down in the bottom left and chat's to my left, I will typically have it on. However, if chat's to my right, I'll turn it off. It's just aesthetics. So you're actually looking at chat. You typically want to be facing inwards to the screen. So when you look left in the bottom left, you want to look left. So typically keep it on. Reset position. This is helpful for when you start off, or if you get up for a toilet break or something. It can become, the position on the avatar can change, and when you sit down it might not be synced up correctly. Reset literally just resets the space position. So sit head on looking at your computer, well, camera, whatever, and hit reset. Problem solved. Hints and help, they just explain things to you. Avatar selection just takes you back to this screen. And now, more settings! Leap motion settings. I don't have leap motion. I've never used leap motion. I don't know. I'm sorry. If you got leap motion, I can't help you much. I can try, but I'm not going to be a huge help. If you effect settings, this is something you don't have to worry about. If you're just aiming for streaming, don't worry about these. They don't typically help. They don't do much. See? Oh well, I don't have it enabled, but it's like camera. Filters on a camera. Now mate, you can use them if you want, but not recommended. Light, ambient, sunlight, intensity, color of the light. If I can. Okay, apparently you can't grab. But see, you can choose the light which is shone on your avatar. Typically, you just leave it out white unless you want to do fancy effects. So, pretty much 3 of these are useless for streaming. They're nice settings, don't get me wrong, but unless you want an acid trip, they're not helpful. Expression settings. These ones here, it gives you a nice list of expressions. You can, most of them on toggle. You can then change them to hold, base, blah blah blah. I don't know what the difference between additive and base are, but you get a hotkey. So let's just go fun. Control Shift F2, and just like that, you're smiling. Control Shift F1, you're back to normal. Then you can enable, disable eye blinking, mouth animations, eyebrow for each one. There is reasons you want to disable these. Like if we hop into surprise, you'll notice I've disabled eye blinking and surprise. I'll enable mouth animation and turn it on to show you why. With a model like this, if I hit Control Shift F6, great face, then you open your mouth big enough and it slightly starts to, I guess, go through itself with the model bones. And yeah, it just doesn't, it doesn't work. But a lot of expression settings have moved into general settings. Now, some of these will depend on your camera itself, whether you want them on or not. So auto blink, if you've got a high quality camera, you can leave it off. But if your camera's not great, it might not pick up your blinks properly. In which case you probably want to leave it on. And while you're looking down, blinks are less sensitive. This is because the camera can't see your eyes as well, and it is higher sensitivity towards your blinks. So it will well, auto blink pretty much. Just force your eyes closed. Link eye blinks. So if I make the face more visible and turn this off, you'll see my eyes now move individually. I can close one, leave one open. I notice when I hold one closed, it doesn't fully close. That's just because of my model. The reason I typically don't have this on is because my eyes blink out of sync. It looks really weird on the model. But a lot of people will have this on for their model, so you can wink and stuff. Synthetic gaze. Follow head movement, look at cameras. Again, low quality cameras are good for this. And also depending on your camera position. Because, well, if your camera is to your left, well, high above you, it might unsync the irises and assume you're looking up. And as a result, you look like you're rolling your eyes, and it's terrifying. So follow head movement or look at camera the whole time. So we'll look at the camera. And now, no matter how I turn my head, it will always look at the camera. Follow head movement. Now my eyes just don't move. They're looking straight ahead. And if we turn it off, we now follow our own face. Well, our own eyes. Our real eyes. Audio lip sync. This is when you have a mic. Because if I were to cover up my camera at the moment, my mouth would still move because it's listening to my voice for how to move the mouth as well as looking at it. This creates a more accurate talking animation. Always use full lip sync animation. Just leave this one on. Same with hybrid. Spring bone wind. Let's just add some wind, I believe. I don't really know. It's a new setting. I'll be honest, I just updated from the oldest possible version from years ago. Not years, about 2-3 months ago. Face track, default position even. So default, custom, closer. I typically leave this on closer. Some people go default when streaming. And custom, just depending on which button you press, you can zoom in and out. It looks like control right click to move about. And I did just press something and I zoomed on accident. I don't use this setting either. I typically stay on closer. Reset position, you can add a hotkey here. So I don't know, you could add something like we'll throw it on my. It doesn't accept bonus mouse inputs apparently. So we'll just assign it to numpad 3. So now when I press numpad 3, it will reset the position. Face tracking, you want to leave this on. Because I mean, if I turn this off, look. We just freeze up. It turns the camera off and you can only see my lip sync moving. So we'll turn it back on, camera turns back on, we start tracking again. Now, expression detection. This one's interesting. The simple one is the one I typically recommend you go with. I don't have much variance in my facial expression, so this typically doesn't work for me. It's the reason I tend to keep it off. But if you hit simple, now when you smile, if I can smile, yeah, smiling's hard. But it will now smile when I smile. Should. If you... I'm reading now what it says. Surprised, angry eyebrows up. So if I raise my eyebrows... Okay, it doesn't seem to be working at the moment. How about... Okay, simple expression detection. Either I don't have enough expression, not working properly. Experimental, you create your own expressions. I'm not going to go through this because, well, as you just saw, my expressions don't work. But you calibrate your face with the expressions and create your own. So, surprised, angry, whatever, you make your own faces for it. Graphic settings, I leave these as is, but people change them up. I honestly don't know what half of them do. I don't look into it. I just accept that they work. Device settings. You should have set these up at the start, but if it's still not working, check you got the right camera. So you can see there's a lot of cameras here. And mic, same thing. Check you got the right mic enabled. Check that it's listening to you, not nothing. virtual camera. This one is important for streaming. The virtual camera, this will put a camera onto your Streamlabs, and then I'll show the Streamlabs end of it in a minute. But I'll go into explaining that later. Low latency, you typically want enabled, but it lets the reactions and stuff happen tracking real time instead of delay. So if you turn it off, there's a very small delay on it, like minuscule delay added. But yeah, it doesn't make much of a difference. I'd recommend leaving it on. Uninstall the virtual camera. It will be installed the first time you click this. You just click it and it installs the software. It will ask Windows, does it make changes? You hit yes and it installs the camera. Add background image. If you hit load, it will take you to your files. I'm not sure where, hence the reason I'm not clicking it. And then you can plop an image in. I got a green screen here for Streamlabs reason, but you can put anything you want in. You know what, let's hit it. So we could throw in the podcast background. The podcast hasn't begun. Spoiler there. And now on the virtual camera, you would see this podcast. I'll leave it loaded for the example. This just leave it be. Advanced. Leave this be. You don't need this. These are fancy settings which are irrelevant. Right, now we've gone through settings. Next up on the agenda, we grab the Streamlabs. Huzzah! We'll go to this one. We'll make it nice and pretty. But yeah, you'll see if I turn this picture off, it doesn't make much difference from my default. I'm hoping you know how to use the basics of Streamlabs, but yeah, this is now my camera. This is no longer an image behind me. My camera shows this. So if I were to now go back to VSeeFace, load background image, go back to the green screen, open up Streamlabs, you'd see darkness behind me. The reason for this is simply because I've got a chroma key which removes key, green. Hence the reason I use a green screen background. There's some transparency option, but I didn't quite understand it when it came out, so this was the alternative I came up with. But now, how do you get this fabulous camera? Well, you hit add. We will grab a video capture device, add source, add a new source. Just title it whatever you want. So I'll throw VSeeFace as the title. Then that's not the camera I want. Good job, it's not linked up to anything. Haha, no face reveal yet. Then you got a list of cameras. These are all your video devices. So many of these for me are virtual. You won't have this many, at least I hope not. But you'll see, like this one here, you do not want to click. This is your camera. This will show your face. It will probably be something different for you, but this is your webcam model. FHD capture, that's a capture card. Again, that is not a camera. VSeeFace camera, this is the one you want. This one will load up and show your avatar. Now we can make this one disappear. And now let's stretch to the full size of the screen. So great, we got it loaded, but we still got a background. We want to be transparent when we're playing games. I understand. I want to be transparent as well. Instead of dragging like that, you can just transform and fit to screen. There you go, and now you're perfectly aligned. But if you want a background, right click your camera, properties. Wait, no. Filters. I know what I'm doing. Add a filter. Once you're in the filters, you want to find the chroma key. Name this whatever you want, but I just leave it as default. You're only ever going to need one chroma key. And by default, it will remove green. However, let's just say you had purple as your background screen for whatever reason. I think I've got a purple one. Magenta. Now, we loaded up a magenta one. You can minimize this. As you can see, the magenta's back here. How do you remove this? Well, there's a magenta option by default. But if you don't, you can simply go to a key color and find your color here. So there's magenta, and custom color is removed. Where did I go? Turn down similarity. See, it can sometimes erase you along with the color if it's too similar. I'm personally not sure why it's erasing me at this level, but if you just turn down similarity, you'll reappear. And you'll notice that if you turn it right down, you get this outline. I'm just simulating the error, but you can sometimes with a green screen, you'll get this outline around you. Normally, if you just go into smoothness, you will reduce that outline and just tinker around with the levels of everything. And you should get it all removed just by playing with it enough. I still got a bit of purple around me. Turn down the color spill, I believe, or up. Oh yeah, turning up color spill. There we go. Problem solved. Yeah, if you just play around with these settings, you'll probably solve the issue. And voila! You got yourself in your streaming software. Nice and easy. There's a whole bunch of other settings, but I'm just going through how to get it working while you're streaming. You can then go to whatever game you want and start playing. One issue is... Oh, I've got the wrong... We're going to change this back to green just for these purposes. You'll notice the game capture will capture this program. So you'll typically want to go to properties and capture a specific window, or foreground window, full screen application, whichever one, so you actually capture the right device instead of this one. Always make sure in your Streamlabs that you're actually looking at the right thing. Please, I've made the mistake so many times where I've captured the wrong thing. Please check you're using the right thing. But yeah, now I'm going to thank you all for joining me. And now I finally got this video I can link people to. Yay! No more questions, I can send them over here. But thank you all for watching. I will return on my Twitch account playing games, which you should all totally go follow. It's great fun over there. But yeah, I'll be streaming later today, tomorrow, day after, and all the time. So come join me. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, blah blah blah. Adios.